So why worry about home computer security and privacy in the first place? I mean, I can understand how corporations have to worry about this, but this is really much ado about nothing for home users, right? Wrong. I don't mean to hit you over the head with statistics, but, well, hey, I've got my bachelor's degree in economics, so I'm going to. We're recording this movie in December of 2005, and I've got some brand new information that just came out from America Online and this organization called the National Cybersecurity Alliance. They're a not-for-profit organization. They're actually sponsored by the Department of Homeland Security, the Federal Trade Commission, and a bunch of other sort of private sector companies and organizations. And this is the second year they've done a survey, and what they did was they talked to a bunch of home computer users, did a bunch of interviews, and then with the permission of the people they were interviewing, they actually scanned their computers and they were looking for firewall settings, antivirus software, potential virus infections, parental control software, spyware. About a third of the people were on dial-up and about 2/3 were on broadband. What they found was just downright shocking. Pretty much most of the home computers, 83%, 8 out of 10, didn't have core protection. What the heck is core protection? Well, glad you asked. Up-to-date antivirus, properly configured firewall, and then some sort of spyware protection. And this is all stuff you're going to learn about in these movies. About, a quarter of them, less than a quarter, have received at least one phishing attempt via email over the past 2 weeks. Phishing is just really becoming a huge problem. It's a social engineering attack where someone tries to trick you into you giving them personal information, your bank account, your eBay passwords, and we'll talk about that a little later. About half of the home computer users lacked current virus protection. That's just scary because viruses out there are getting worse. A little less than half didn't have their firewall tweaked right, and a little over a third didn't even have any spyware software. So what? So why is this bad? Well, let me give you some other numbers. About 70% of the people in the survey use their computers to store personal or sensitive information. These are things like personal letters in Microsoft Word or even personal emails, maybe putting up their resumes or professional records or health information or financial information. And if you're like most people, well, you probably do that as well. I mean, I know I do. So you've got the personal information that's sitting there on the computer because you also are using your computer probably to get out on the internet. And about 75% of computer users use the internet for sort of sensitive transactions, personal emails, doing online banking, doing stock trading. You can actually review your medical information online or even do online shopping. If that information, either on your computer or the stuff that you're doing out there on the internet, gets out, somebody else can intercept it, or if somebody can get onto your computer and damage it, well, a couple things go on. You are exposing your personal information out there on the internet, and that's embarrassing, it's annoying, and it is really difficult to fix. So when we're talking about these security problems out there, this is really what happens when these security problems come home. When they hit home computers, this is what we have to watch out for. It's getting our personal information, the stuff that's on our computer, other people can see it. We also want to protect our personal information as we use the internet. Well, guess what? If our computer gets attacked or some vulnerability is sort of taken advantage of, somebody can get into your computer and do nasty things there. And it is a mess to fix. Remember, your personal information, your data, your private information, that is so much more valuable than the computer itself. You can get computers anywhere, but redoing your resume, redoing the pictures, all the things that you store on your computer, that's the key. That's the important stuff. If someone or some nefarious program gets into your computer, you could lose everything. You could lose all of your intellectual property, your My Documents, your pictures, your music. You could have that person then take that information and become you, apply for credit cards. And if you've known anybody who've had identity theft in their background or had their information stolen, that is a mess to fix. There's going to be a productivity drain when this happens because you're going to be spending your time trying to deal with this problem instead of doing what you want to do. You could see a loss of income. Somebody could get into your personal information and then use that to sell it to someplace else. You're going to have to spend money to fix it. They could delete files. You're going to have to spend money to get them back. And there could be legal consequences, not just for the people who break into your computer, but if somebody breaks into your computer and uses your computer to do nasty things, the authorities are coming to you. So how can you protect yourself against these security breaches? Well, unfortunately, most people do the wrong thing. They try to do something, but they end up doing the wrong thing. I've got some more statistics here. Sorry for throwing the stats at you, but this came from Consumer Reports in the second half of 2005. And it turns out that to deal with all the problems out there on the internet, 9 out of 10 users, about 86%, have made at least one change in their behavior because of a fear of identity theft. And a little less than 1 in 3 say they've actually reduced their overall use of the internet. They're so afraid of all these bad things that are out there on the internet that they stopped using the internet or cut down on using the internet. Folks, that's just plain silly. You can protect yourself. You don't have to stop using the internet. About 53% say they've stopped giving out personal information on the internet, and that's actually a good idea, not always practical. About 1 in 4 have stopped buying things online, which is just plain silly. And about 29% of those who shop online say they've cut back on how often they buy on the internet. Well, that's just not necessary. There are better ways to protect yourself online. As a matter of fact, those things don't actually protect yourself as well as the things we've talked about already. So before we start unpacking this, before I talk about, okay, not just get a firewall, but what do I mean by that and how to set it up, I want to show you something I found at Microsoft that I thought was kind of cool.